Hello, friends. I am live, right on time, getting better at this every time I go on. I am grateful. I hope all of you are having an awesome week. And you might say, how can you say that? There's so much hard stuff going on. This is what I say. Look around and see what you're grateful for. There's people who are working to save other people's lives, who are risking heading home and infecting their children with this virus. There are people who are coming out. I just saw tonight on the news, coming out, the first patients who have been on ventilators, who are coming out of the hospitals. And the staff in the hospital is applauding them because they were the success. They were what everybody is working so hard to make happen. And according to the statistics, only 50% of those people who go on the ventilators make it out of the hospital. So let's celebrate what is happening and what is good. And let's help each other get through all the strangeness, all the loss, all the confusion. I'm going to start this off with grateful as what I'm focused on. I'm wearing this t-shirt, not t-shirt, sweatshirt, Dance Olympus. I got this probably like 10 years ago, maybe less. I was in Long Island, New York, a hotel by a bridge, that I remember, and I got sent this sweatshirt before that event. Today I had a nice talk, and for the last 2 or 3 days, I've been having nice talks with Art and Nancy Stone. And some of you who are listening won't know who they are, but they were people that I grew up with, people I traveled with on their tour, people who have been a part of my life within the United Dance Merchants and dance in general. We're family, and we've been talking to each other, and they've suffered a loss. And just knowing that I have these friends that I can talk to that are like parents. If you don't have parents, you know how important these people are in your life. That makes me grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for. I have another friend out there. Some of you may know him, Derek Yanford, in our field, in our business. And the other day, on a strenuous day, we were dealing with something. We laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. Laughing at ourselves, laughing at the world, laughing at dance, laughing at people, and just like, forgetting about everything. So I'm grateful for the conversations. I'm grateful for the time that I have to do things like that. But also this, I want to say this to everyone out there who's stuck and doesn't necessarily know how to move forward. I'm looking at it as a whole new world. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know that all of the plans that I had prior to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm losing track of time, will even work in the future. I don't know if how we've been focused in dance is the model that's going to come out of this. I don't know if it's going to last longer. I don't know if it's going to last longer in certain parts of the country and open up in other parts of the country. I just know that I have this time. We all have this time to get off the speeding train. And I know, wait, there's some dance teacher friends out there going to say to me, I'm running my school. I gotta stay on that, and it's harder than ever before. You're doing it, you just don't know it. Because the things that you're learning, you're like forced to learn it. They are skills that you will be using as we move on in all the possibilities. So I have a whole bunch of cards here that I want to talk about or use in my talk tonight. But I want to say something that has nothing whatsoever to do with dance. A week ago, last Saturday, I went to the grocery store. I've been out a total of 3 times since all of this started, only when I needed grocery and or a prescription, and I put everything in a row and get it all done in one fell swoop when I get out off the compound. Um, First week that I was out, or maybe, yeah, the first week that I was out, there were lines in the grocery store. So I'm standing at a yellow line and I'm following all the rules because I'm a guy, that's what I want to talk about in following the rules. Let me say this, even if they're not enforced, I'm going to follow them. And in a minute, I'll tell you why. But so this lady comes up right behind me and she goes, "Do you mind moving up, sir?" Now I'm 6 feet behind the person in front of me, like, the line indicates. And I go, "No, I don't want to move up, ma'am. I want to follow the rules. And I'd feel more comfortable if you stood on that line back there." I'm not afraid to say that to somebody. So then this week I go out and I decide I'm going to the Walmart superstore. I don't care what you think of Walmart on this day. I needed to go and get stuff in the prescriptions, household, all of that. So I go in to buy elastics because I've learned how to make a mask. And so I have to wear a scarf into the place. And somebody gave me a couple pairs of gloves. So I wear the gloves. I go into this place. There's a policeman stopping people as you're coming through the parking lot, saying, "Slow down as you approach," because he wanted enough distance behind the people. Then there's yellow lines that you have to go in, and they suggest 6 to 10 feet away from each other, and people are standing there making sure as you're walking in the store that that's what's going on. I'm wrapped in a scarf because that's all I could find. For us, if you're in a different part of the country, for us, this is so real. There is no question that we can't take a chance on either us getting this, us carrying this, us not doing what it is that is expected of us. Because, I was brought up, and I think a lot of people listening to this were also brought up where a person's life is more valuable than anything. So I'm saying to people, no matter where you are and wherever you're listening to this, let's say you're not in the heat of the moment of what this is, so you don't see what it could be. Think that it could be the worst, and that maybe you prepare for it now to avoid it getting the worst where you are. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Hang on one second, please. Not all I'm going to say. I heard a quote today that I liked, and I thought I wrote it down. It was about wearing masks. If I see it here, I'll go. So another thing I want to tell you that I'm grateful for, all the people who've come into my life that I haven't heard from in years. And if you've been following these talks, I had a talk two times where the name Jody Goodman came up. And Jody Goodman is a dancer who a lot of people believe is and was one of the best dancers of her time. And she grew up in the Gold School, and my brother and I grew up with her. And she was brought up in conversations which put me back in touch with Jody, who's been in Italy. And we talked today, and I'm sure you guys have heard about Italy. And so she's like, I guess I'm going to guess at this, 6 to 8 weeks into this, a lot of deaths, a lot of scariness going on in Italy. And she was just so excited to hear us talking about her. So I asked her if she would do one of these with me. And I'm excited. I'm going to do next Monday night. I'm calling it Growing Up Gold. And I'm going to hang out with Jody Goodman, Nancy O'Mara, my brother Rhee, and we're going to talk about the old days. And Nancy and Jody are going to talk about days in LA. And so it's not just getting to do that show that excites me. I am grateful that these people are in my life. And my guess is that's probably happening with a lot of you. Or you're seeing people who are there with you and you didn't expect them to be, and people who you expected to be who may not be. This is our time to explore, to grow, learn. Everybody's figuring themselves out. Okay. So I want to talk about passion because somebody asked me if I could describe what I mean by passion. You know that's an impossible question to answer, but I can describe what passion means. And when I say that, I mean passion as it relates to dance, because I do believe that once that passion is in your blood, it remains there forever. You can stop taking dance lessons or whatever, but it pops in. It's like a really good something that comes when you hear music or you see someone dance or you see a dance performance. It soothes your soul. So here's my description of how I learned passion in dance. When I was 10ish, that somehow I've told this story and we'll tell it again sometime. When I discovered that this dance thing was my thing, what I wanted. But I also knew at that time what passion was, and this is how I knew. I used to be in my kitchen with my brother Rhee, and my mother would get these paper notes in the mail from Gus Giordano. A lot of listeners will know who he will always be great, no matter where he is. My mother used to get these notes in the mail, and obviously, I guess it was a record player. I can't remember that. It would be on the kitchen counter. And my mother would be looking at those notes and she'd be playing the music. We'd be eating dinner or something, Rhee and I. And my mother would be dancing the notes, the choreography. And when she danced it, she would look in our eyes and you could feel her passion for dance. It was a feeling that she was sending through her eyes, through her body. It was just there. And know this, as I say this, I laugh because some people who watch this may be thinking, But you're in your kitchen. She wasn't moving. It was not moving that much. It wasn't about her moving. It was the feeling. So that's the passion. Here's a couple more examples. Hang on. Couple more examples, and this is where I grew up. I know all of you have your examples, and we've been talking to Jackie Slide, and we've talked to Tice, and we've talked about the teachers that inspired them. But these are the examples I had growing up. If you took a class from Gus Giordano, it wasn't about the most difficult jumps or turns, or let's say at the time there was a trick that everybody was doing. You wouldn't see that in Gus's choreography or whatever class he was teaching. It was Gus. It was his soul. It wasn't to show how good he was. It was, could you get that inner soul gut feeling? And once you got that, you figured out how to dance Gus. Luigi, same way. Like if you went and took his class and you just started with his port de bras, and you could ease into the zone, the passion, the common bond among the dancers in the room who were all sweating. If you just stopped, it was this common joy of dance. That's the passion. Another guy, and listen, I never was good in his class because, as you can see when I bring up the names that I bring up, yeah, I was influenced by a lot of jazz people, but I also took a lot of classes from David Howard, and David Howard was another artist. I never was really good in his class, but he had the passion. You could read the passion from his vibe. And I know there's going to be a lot of people listening to this who are going to go, yeah, that's right. It isn't about the tricks or they all created great choreography. It was about the impact they had on the souls of the dancers who learned, wanted to learn, spent time learning, just spent one class learning. Their passion and taking a piece of that with them into their future. There's so many of us. I'm not even dancing anymore. I have all those people in me in what I do. I can't leave out this name because this guy, you'll get it when I say passion. I can't leave out Frank Hatchett. Passion, sweat, pants falling off, going across the floor, New York, hot, hot, hot. Passion, 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 passion. So this is what I want to ask. Could it be that this era, I don't have the answer. Could it be this era that we have been in to outdo each other? I don't want this to come across bad. So I want to use my words right. An era where we were trying to achieve or trying to build students that were achieving feats beyond what we would have expected 20 years ago. Maybe feeling like we were on top because we won a lot, or our dancers moved on to professional careers and percentages that other studios didn't. All accolades that I too believe make a strong teacher, strong accolades, achievements might have been a better word, that make us strong. But could we maybe now, as we go through this for a period of time, or look and maybe turn to a new era of passion? And what do I mean by that? I'm going to try to connect this. If you notice the kids who danced every day, who got ready to go perform on stages each weekend, one of the things that I'm discovering from all of the teachers that I talk to is they love talking to each other. They love the normalcy of hanging out with the people who they danced with. What if I said that as we go through this, we're going to have different shining stars? And what do I mean by shining stars? The kids we're going to start recognizing are going to be the best spirited kids, the kids who are there for other kids, the kid who's smart and answers a question to her friend way more brilliantly than you knew she could. So while we have this chance, let's recognize the kids in our charge, is a good word for that, as the people and souls that they are. They can't do a lot of pirouettes in the living room. They can't do a lot of jumps in the living room. And I'm not saying we don't teach them or give them good warm up or do our best to keep them in shape. But let's go to this place where I've always wanted us to go, which is a community. It's about more than dance. It's about building a community where people feel safe, and now we need it more than ever. It's about a community of mentors and leaders and people where kids come and feel the vibe is their vibe. We've all were those people. That's who we are. And that doesn't mean that we don't strive to be great teachers, great choreographers. But what it means is we have to step up to the plate in new ways, in new times. So this is how I'm going to start this off. This is your time. This is your time to create something that is you, something from your soul. I want to say that right now I'm worried about my businesses, the future. But I look at this as 1 week, 2 weeks at a time, and that there's so much that I can do with what I have, and that why not do it? And why not see what that brings? So, what do I say? I say, what's in your soul? What can you give? What can you do to make people smile? What can you do to take their mind off of things, um, make a point of showing the good stuff that people are doing out there, dance wise and just humanity wise? Um, Who do you want to be when you make your grand entrance into the new world? Who do you want to be when you make your grand entrance into the new world? When have we ever had a time where we could change everything? Where everything that it was the way before, the way everything was before, can be at least adjusted. We got some time to think because we don't have to be working towards certainty that kept us going every day, morning, noon, and night. Where do we want to go to make our new entrance into the world? Really, that's all the cards that I have, and I feel like that's my message for tonight. Passion, you guys. And here's another question, because I see this here and I think it's a good question, but maybe all of you who are watching can write your thoughts or your answers on this below in the posts. What are you better at than you were before this started? What are you better at, either as a person, a business person, a mom, a dad, a doctor, a person in the front lines that never expected to be in the front lines? What are you good at? What are you surprised about yourself that you didn't know a week ago? This is what I want to say as I close this out. You're all getting better. We don't see it all the time because this is new and different. We're all getting better. And I want to say this. Those of you, and I know many in dance are these kind of people. You've been through struggles before. You've been through struggles about maybe your identity, struggles about your business, struggles about your career, struggles about maintaining your dancer's body to keep your life going. We all have those struggles in our lives going on. Now we become anything that we want to be because those struggles here, this made us strong. I'm hearing from a lot of younger people, this is nothing against younger people, but they've never faced tough things or it's been easy for them. And when I say that, I mean even death, a loved one, let alone your whole life changing overnight. Know that if you have struggled before, I say it snickering because every time something happens, I go, I can handle that. And some of that's pretty bad, but it's not bigger than some of those previous struggles. And you can see the benefit of what this time is forcing us all to do as a human race, as being okay, here we go. We've struggled before and we've come out, and we've come out brilliantly. We may just come out of this more brilliantly, a more brilliant world. I so much appreciate having the opportunity to talk to all of you. Next Monday, we're going to do something really special, motivational talk. with Jody Goodman, Nancy O'Mara, myself, my brother Rennie, and we're going to talk about growing up gold, which I'm so excited to do with you. We're here Monday through Saturday, 8 p.m. Have a good night. Thank you.